Julie, I know you for almost 3 years, and you have been an incredible supporter for the ECN. And obviously, I've known you from the screen, and it's incredibly
For
amazing
Zoom
to
meetings.
to spend time here and to get to know you. And we are ending our incredible adventure in Baja California, and I would like to start by asking you, what's your personal highlight of this trip
Of
so
this
far?
trip, that's such a great question because there's been many.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say the mega pot of dolphins that you and I were so fortunate to photograph that were heading right at us. I could say it was the whale when we were out in the skiff, and it was 30 feet from us. But I feel like this, I don't know if it's going to sound corny or not, but I feel like something happened today that just touched my soul. I'm getting weepy thinking about it, but it was, I looked out, everybody went off on their adventures this morning, and I looked out and I saw Captain Shep in the Zodiac taking one of our guests that isn't very mobile on a personal skiff tour. And he didn't make a thing about it. It was kind of privately done, but I just think that speaks to the heart of who this company is that the captain would take this amazing gentleman out that may not be physically adventurous, but he is clearly emotionally, and his mindset and his heart is all about adventure to come on an UnCruise. So anyway, I think that's maybe because it happened today, I don't know, but it just really, warmed my heart.
But that's the thing, I travel quite a lot with different companies, and I think most of our members are fantastic. One thing that really stands out to me now that we are ending the trip is how amazing it is to always have a spot in whatever or whichever way you choose to have an adventure with UnCruise Adventures. So just the choice of opportunities and ways to experience that. And I think this is very much the essence of the company. So talking about who is the UnCruiser, and of course, we talk to travel advisors and try to help them understand what the UnCruise company is, and who is the person who loves this kind of trips?
That's such a great question, and thank you again for all your work that you do with ECN and trying to convey the message of expedition and adventure, because it's not one easily done. But I feel for us, I think we kind of put ourselves in the adventure bucket, and to me personally, that's more of an emotional type of travel. You can take the novice, like I was talking about the gentleman earlier today, all the way to the experience who wants to hard charge, and everybody has a great time. And the crew on board is not just one that plans and manages everything, but they also, they are the experience. They create the experience for everybody. So I would tell any advisor out there, they don't need to know what level of adventure their client is. They just need to know their mindset, their passion, their heart. It's really about getting into places people can't get in. That's one thing I kept hearing over and over on this trip is you would never be able to find these places on your own. So I don't know, I feel like that's where I would put UnCruise, and just that passionate mindset of wanting to do something different and unique and get to places that you just could not do either by yourself or with any other company.
Absolutely. And one thing as well, which I noticed, is how long have people worked for this company? So you including. So I believe you joined UnCruise, 11 years ago?
11 years ago. I just celebrated my 11th anniversary. And after we all went through the pandemic, I am very honored and humbled to work for a company like this, because you do, when you work or take a job with a company, you think, where would I like to retire, or where would I like to be proud about working? And you know what it's like getting on a product. You just see the heart and essence of what your hard work in the office is doing, and what lives you're changing. And the longevity of people staying with this company is, whether they're on the boat, whether they're in the office, it's just, people love to hang out here because it's just such a, and Dan, of course, right?
Of course. Of course, it all starts from a leader.
Right.
But when was that moment when you sort of like, okay, I'm getting this. When was that moment that you knew this
Like-
is the place for you?
Oh, UnCruise?
Yeah.
Well, that's another great question in that I was working for another big ship company. I just got recruited, and in my heart, I'm like, well, they're a wonderful company.
Yeah.
I just kept pulling at my heartstrings, and I wanted to go back to that smaller boat.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to have a phone call and asked if I would join or come back to a similar company, back to UnCruise. So I think I was like, yes. And I remember part of the interview I was saying, although I don't know if I believed it wholly, but I remember part of the interview going, I want to retire here. Like, you're not going to hire me and I'm not going to go away in 5 years. Like, this is where I want to finish out my career.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing to have that
often
kind of
reflect on
hindsight,
that,
you know,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, you know,
Yeah.
it's things sometimes change when you start working in places. But so, what is it about these small ships and being able to travel, I would say, in a small group to these incredible places that make it such a authentic experience?
Well, I think because it truly is authentic. I think
Yeah.
in the industry we love to throw around like authenticity or authentic and sustainability and, you know, adventure and expedition, and it's really broad what we do. But I know you can agree with me that after being on here, it is all of that.
Yeah.
It isn't a show. It isn't something that we have scripted. It's not a port to port. It's really, where is Mother Nature? Where's she choreographing with our crew? And how can we get into this place and make it the most pleasant and the most active and the most beautiful? We work a lot with the locals and every destination here. And right now we're in a beautiful spot where we have the Romero's family that we work with. They bring their burros. They travel several miles just to bring their burros down to meet our guests. And we have a farm that we source here in Baja. They bring on all of our local foods and produce and all of that. And it's not only that it's so good, but it's giving back to these communities that give so much to our guests. It's just extremely meaningful to us.
And I think it's another element that few people realize. In every single beach we went to, Captain Dan, because he is traveling with us on this trip, has been the first one to collect the trash. You know, I would be very, very curious to see all that trash stored now in the ship, because I am very, very impressed with that, because you know, there's obviously conversations to be had about carbon emissions and what sustainability means in a wider sector and industry in general. But I think those stories also deserve to be talked about, because it's an incredible thing that companies like UnCruise are doing, whether they're formal or informal,
Right.
and whether it's just something that is just inbuilt in the ethos of the organization. So talking about the destinations that UnCruise ships go to, so I know that Alaska is the homeland, and obviously Hawaii and Costa Rica. So can you tell me a little bit more about why these places and what makes them special to travel in UnCruise way?
And that, again, truly starts with Dan. He literally goes and seeks out areas. Of course, Alaska was started 30 years ago. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And he would take his family up there, and he would be on a sailboat. And he was working for another cruise line, but on his personal time off, he would head up there and just find these amazing, beautiful spots. And off in the distance, you know, these large cruise ships would just be, and he's like, oh, if they only knew, like, this is, if I can only show people. Well, he got that opportunity and he created that. So that was a no-brainer for him. That was his backyard, the Pacific Northwest and Alaska. And then he traveled down here on his personal sailboat. And he literally goes to every destination, not only scouts it out by land, he'll also then scout it out, rent a boat or take one of our own and scout that out to make sure it has that mix of wildlife, history, culture, and nature. And if it has that blend, it's magic. It's just a magic recipe. Most of our vessels are registered in the U.S., so that limits us to some of the places in the U.S.
Okay.
This vessel right here, the Safari Voyager, has a foreign flag vessel, so we're able to come here. We're able to go to Costa Rica, and then our guests just want more places. We have 6 different itineraries up in Alaska. A lot of our guests have already done all 6 of them.
Yeah.
Mother
And asking
Nature.
for more.
Yeah,
Asking for more.
Mother Nature doesn't really repeat. Every day is different. So every time they go to Alaska, they see something amazing. So it's just, people have caught on, you know. Expedition Adventure has been around for a very long time, but it has just hit the pinnacle of people going, oh, this is how you can see it. And I feel like it's the advisors. They're becoming they're becoming educated through organizations like Expedition Cruise Network. They're paying more attention to it. They themselves like that type of travel. And they're thinking, oh man, you know, without the advisors, we can't spread the word enough. You know, it's really through the advisors' education is how we're able to get the word out so they can get it out to their clients and set themselves apart instead of just the mainstream.
But do you think there is something that happened in the last 5 years, talking about people's desire to feel more connection with places they visit? Or is it just my imagination? Because very often I just sort of think that expedition cruising is so perfectly positioned for people who want something a little bit more from life beyond the screens and the luxury and the whole, you know. But I just wanted to ask you whether it's something you're noticing as well when you talk to the advisors and to the travelers, because you get to travel.
I do. I think the glaring one for me in our little world is the pandemic. I feel that adventurers, the true adventurers, they're certainly affluent. They may fly first class to a destination, but they don't need butler service. But they're the first to adventure out of the pandemic. Everybody was in lockdown, and a true adventurer, they wanted to get out. They wanted to see things. So I feel like a lot of people had screen time. They'd hunted down. They were trying to figure out, well, how can I get out there? How can I stay in my bubble, but get into remote areas and not get onto these massive, whether it's a resort or a cruise ship or other ways to travel in a larger way. So that really put UnCruise on the map after, at that time, 25 years. And then people just started like, oh, there is another way to travel. Oh, I don't have to dress up. Oh, I can still have amazing food, but still get out there and hang out with the wildlife. So I feel like that's really what escalated, at least from the UnCruise side. And also because of those U.S. flags, we were able to leave right out of Alaska. And although our Friends of the North, Canada is an amazing place to visit, when people wanted to go to Alaska, they wanted that 7 nights, 8 days in Alaska. And we could start and finish in Alaska because of that registry. So we just had all the pieces kind of coming together for us. And we're likely sell out this year in Alaska.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
That's amazing. And coming back to Baja, where we are now, and we're literally in this Mexican paradise, just like Keka sings to us almost every day. Welcome to Mexican paradise. I know this is the 6th trip for you, or maybe even more.
Right.
And we were just chatting about it before this, and you told me that actually there are a lot of new places to you. So even just in Baja, it's very obvious. You can also experience it probably a couple times if you feel this place calling you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the other itineraries. What sort of experiences people get to experience when they're here?
When they're here, well, the great thing is and that's the one thing that my husband and I have been talking so much about. We've been here so many times, and we live fairly close. We live in Arizona, so we're able to come down this area. We never get to see it like this unless we're on the Voyager, but it is. If there's winds, or if the crew scouted an area they just went cuckoo over, if it's low tide, if it's high tide, anything that Mother Nature kind of brings our way, we're able to pivot and get into these really remote areas. And I think the start of this trip, that's happened a couple times with us. We were supposed to go one place, but we ended up in another place, which just was as magical. So there's the other true, I don't know, positive side about getting into areas that were not port-centric, that we could just really pivot and find the best of the best. So this whole voyage, we're on our 10-night, 11-day cruise, and I'm like, oh, how much are we going to repeat? Today is the first island that I've been to that I've already seen. And we're what?
Yeah.
We've already sailed 9 nights or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's really extraordinary for me. And then even that I'm coming, I'm like, oh man, I forgot how all these cardones that are coming down to the sea, and it's these beautiful red rocks and this gorgeous turquoise bay. And yeah, it's just been such a hoot, and every day is just magical.
Amazing. And talking about what's next for the UnCruise Adventures, what are you most excited about that's coming or is being developed or tweaked? Or
we have a lot of little
Yeah.
secrets in the hopper that I can't quite, a little embargo on the sales team, but I'll tell you the one thing that we're all really excited about is going back to Costa Rica.
Okay.
We'll start that in 2026. The departures are looking amazing. We've got a few folks on the board from Costa Rica, so I've been picking their ear, and they were saying you would never be able to see where you're going in Costa Rica by land. And if you did, it would take several hours to get there by car where you guys are touching. The other unique thing that I learned, you think you know it all working for the company, but these guys, I'm learning so much that because we travel in the evening or we cruise in the evening, we get a full day. We're up at 6, we have our coffee on deck, we have our breakfast, and off we go. And we do it until sunset, and then we get to cruise in the evening. So the travel time has been extraordinary, that we get to spend all these days, and we'll do similar in Costa Rica. So just getting to the locations, a week cruise, probably by land it would take you 2 weeks to do, just to see what we're seeing there. So we're really excited about getting back there.
Well, amazing. I think on that note, we should just have a little cheer for what future brings.
Oh my gosh, well here's to our adventures ahead.
Yeah, whoop.
And thank you for friendship and adventure.
Thank you. Cheers to the adventures.
Cheers to you.